This was a whooping. This was a massacre. I don't know any adjective that I could use in this situation to describe what Newcastle went through in the hands of Barcelona at the new camp. The Spotify new camp. I apologize, Spotify. The Spotify new camp. Literally, Barcelona absolutely went crazy. 8-3. 8-3. I don't understand the difference between what happened today and a training session. Because Barcelona absolutely whooped. This was that kind of cane where you break a glass in a Nigerian household and you get whooped from the moment you break it. You don't know where it's coming from, but you just hear whap. You just hear that whooping. We got whooped. Why did I say we? Newcastle got whooped. I whooped silly. And today we are going to talk about it. Because the truth about it is Raphinha, at one point, Barcelona wanted to sell Raphinha. You get me? Barcelona at one point wanted to sell Raphinha. Raphinha stayed. And this dude has become a Ballon d'Or candidate 2 years running. Because he's definitely that. Raphinha freaking hell. Raphinha. I keep repeating his name because I don't understand how good this dude is. Today, it was four goal contributions for Raphinha, the Brazilian. 4 goals contributions. Do you understand how remarkable it has to be? Raphinha has been out. Majority, or he has missed around 8 games this season. And missing 8 games, Raphinha still has 17 goals and 5 assists. You guys understand what I'm talking about? Last season, he played 57 games. This season, he has only played 30. He is on pace to do the same thing, but I know he doesn't even have the opportunity to because the games have already run out. He was injured for a lot of moments this season. This dude just plays football. He has been missing out on every single thing. That's how much he plays football. That's how well he plays football. The dude is remarkable, I'm telling you. I've been so impressed with him. But let me not continue waxing lyrical about just Raphinha. Let's talk about the rest of the team. But the first goal, did you guys see the hezzy that Raphinha did? I thought it was only in basketball that you would see a hezzy. But he was like, and then Dan Burn could not change his trajectory. He put the ball in behind Dan Burn the moment Dan Burn committed. First goal. And then Barcelona just started toying with Newcastle. But of course, Barcelona has this big flaw that I've been talking about for what feels like years now. That super high line it will be the death of me, I'm telling you. That super high line is crazy work. It is crazy work. I've never seen something like this. That high line allowed Newcastle get the equalizer. Every single person and their mama knows how to beat the high line. It's the same thing that happened last season. I've forgotten who it happened against. I think it was Atalanta, if I'm not mistaken. That happened this season. The fullback starts the play. He gives the ball to the winger. The winger gives the ball back to the fullback, but the fullback now is, of course, onside because he was coming from that deep. The fullback gets the cross, and all of a sudden, it's a goal. That is what we saw. And it's repeating itself again. If Barcelona cannot figure it out, they are not winning any Champions League under this system. This defensive system anyway. Because I can tell you that the attack is good enough to win any league. It's good enough to beat anybody. But in a day where you catch the attack off and the defense is still doing the same thing, you will mollywop Barcelona like crazy. But enough said. Because Barcelona absolutely did a magical. They did a magical one. Because you could see the fear in Newcastle's defense. And that only was shown so much in that second goal. Second goal? Yes. Where Dan Burn was trying to cheat. He was trying to cheat the defensive line. It was literally like a graph into Newcastle's defense. I don't understand why. What are you so scared of? I understand you're playing against Yamal, and that's troubling to people. But this is the Champions League. Mistakes like that could not be happening. It can't happen. It just can't. Because what you just did was allow How Lopez scored a goal. Brenal, I think it's Brenal, something his name, that scored the second goal. It was troubling. But then you get Yamal on the pitch, and Yamal is going to do what Yamal does. He's going to do what Yamal does. I understand he gave the confidence in Yamal is what makes him as good as he is. So he does the backheel pass. And the backheel pass was directly to Lewis Hall. Lewis Hall does his own thing and gets the ball, and Elanga puts it in the back of the net. So it's 2-2 at this point. And I'm like, oh, Newcastle are giving them a run for their money. But no. Newcastle goes on, and then Trippier does some stupid stuff. As if there's no VA in football anymore. You hold Raphinha after a beautiful pass from Yamal to Fermin Lopez. This we're talking about, it's not a Travella, but it was outside the foot. It was the Quaresma pass. I think the Travella is kind of it might be the Travella. What am I talking about? He passed that to Fermin Lopez. Lopez passes the ball directly through the 6-yard box. It was going to Raphinha. Just take the goal. Take the goal. You give them a penalty. They scored a penalty. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Yamal has gotten his goal. He's confident now. This is 3-2. In the second half, I'm like, let's see what Newcastle can bring. Newcastle had run out of gas at that point. They had run out of gas. It was like these boys were not ready to play football no more. They were not ready to play football no more. Because what we saw, the things that we saw in the second half was all Barcelona. It was all Barcelona. The sequence, I don't know if it was from Bernal or from Kubasi, but that pass, that line splitting pass, we are talking about it beat the first line of defense in terms of their strikers. It beat the second line in the midfield and got to Yamal in the pocket. Yamal then passes the ball, one-time pass into Fermin Lopez that beats the offside trap. And Fermin Lopez had literally 80 yards running towards the goalkeeper, Ramsdale. And there's only one winner in that situation, Fermin Lopez. And he put the ball in the back of the net. And then, of course, we get the old-timer, Robert Lewandowski. We get the old-timer chipping in with 2 goals. How they left the back of the post that empty for Lewandowski, as if Lewandowski is not the real deal, I would never know. I would never know. And then you do the same thing again. Allow Lewandowski have the time and space in your 18-yard box to raise his head and see where the goalkeeper is. I will never know. I will never know. But this is just the truth. Newcastle have gotten a taste of what the Champions League is. You're not ready. You have to understand that you are not ready. Or maybe it's just this Barcelona team that is that insane. Maybe that's the case. But I will say this right now just so everybody understands. If Barcelona continue with that highest of days kind of line, they are going to understand that they are going to go as far as they are going to be in this quarterfinals. It is going to be ridiculous. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit the follow button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.